Everyone believes never working again takes 10 crores. Ask your colleagues, you'll hear 10, 20, or impossible for people like us. All of them are wrong. For most people watching this, the real number is closer to 1.5 crores. And for a simple life, just 75 lakhs. By the end of this video, you'll know your number and roughly how many years you are from it. Not because the math is generous, because you've been measuring the wrong thing your whole life. Here's why every guess is wrong. When you imagine never working again, you imagine replacing your salary. Earn 1 lakh a month, then you need 1 lakh a month forever. That's the assumption. And to produce a lakh a month forever, you'd need crores upon crores. So the number feels impossible. So you never calculate it. So you work without a finish line forever. And this is exactly why the treadmill works so well. Your salary goes up and your expenses quietly climb to meet it. The flat gets bigger, the car gets newer. The finish line, which you never drew, moves further away on its own. 20 years pass like this. Ask a 50-year-old colleague how much he needs to stop, he still doesn't know. He never calculated it either. But look closer at the assumption underneath all of this. You don't need to replace your salary. You need to replace your expenses. And those are two very different numbers. Your salary has a job cost built into it. The EMIs you took because you felt rich. The cabs because you had no time. The weekend spending because the week was unbearable. The premium school chosen partly because everyone in the office chose it. Strip the job away and what does 1 month of your actual life cost? For most salaried Indians, far less than what they earn. Salary is what the job pays. Expenses are what your life costs. Freedom is priced on the second one. So here's the rule. Take what your life costs in a year, multiply it by 25. That's it. That's the number where work becomes optional. Why 25? Because at that size, something almost magical happens. Invested sensibly, your corpus earns roughly 2 years of expenses every single year. You spend one, the other stays inside, growing, fighting inflation on your behalf. The pot refills faster than you drink from it. This isn't a trick. It's the same math behind every early retirement you've ever heard of. Yearly expense times 25. Or if you think in months, monthly expense times 300. But this formula only works if you feed it an honest number. So before anything else, find yours. Open your bank statement, take the last 12 months and add up everything that left your account for living. Not investments, not transfers, living. And count the hidden ones. Insurance, 12 months of it. The festival season, the wedding gifts, the repairs. A monthly guess forgets these. A full year forgets nothing. 10 minutes of honesty and you'll have the one number this entire video is built on. Now let's make it real with 3 lives you'll recognize. Life 1, the 25,000 rupee life. A 2-bedroom flat in a tier 2 city. A scooter that starts on the first kick. Home food, school fees, 1 train trip a year to see family. Sunday evening chat with the kids. 25,000 a month. 3 lakhs a year. Times 25. 75 lakhs. Read that again. Not 10 crores. 75 lakhs. And this life never needs a boss again. There are government employees, shopkeepers, retired army men living this exact life on this exact math all across India right now. Their neighbors have no idea. There's no board outside the house that says financially free. Nobody makes videos about them. They're too busy being free. Life 2, the 50,000 rupee life. A metro city, a decent flat, a small car, kids in a good school, eating out twice a month, 1 proper holiday a year, sometimes with a flight. 6 lakhs a year, times 25, 1.5 crores. Still not 10. And here's the detail everyone misses. This is the life most people earning 1.5 or 2 lakhs a month actually live. The rest of their salary, it disappears into the job costs and the status costs. The second car that mostly sits in parking. The gadgets that replace last year's gadgets. Which means their freedom number is built on 50,000, not on 2 lakhs. Their impossible dream is half as far as they think. They just never separated what their life costs from what their lifestyle builds them. Life 3, the 1 lakh rupee life. Premium flat, big car, international holidays, no compromises on anything. 12 lakhs a year times 25, 3 crores. Yes, that's a big number. But notice something. Even the premium, no compromise life needs 3 crores. Not 10, not 20. The 10 crore number in your head, that was never a calculation. It was a feeling manufactured by ads, by billionaire headlines, by that one flat in that one tower you saw once. And the feeling was designed to keep you buying things instead of buying years. Now, the question that actually matters, how long to get there? And this is where the math does something beautiful. Say you invest the same amount that you spent. Spend 25,000, invest 25,000. At the long-term returns, Indian index funds have historically delivered around 12% a year, not guaranteed, but that's the 100-year planning number. You reach 25 times your expenses in roughly 12 years. Now here's the part that should give you goosebumps. That's true at every income level. Spend 50,000 and invest 50,000, 12 years. Spend a lakh, invest a lakh, 12 years. The clock doesn't care about your salary, it only cares about the ratio, how much you keep versus how much you burn. Invest half of what you spend and it stretches to about 16 years. Invest double what you spend and it collapses to under 8. Rich or middle class, Bengaluru or Bhopal, the road is the same length for the same ratio. Freedom was never an income, it's a ratio. And where does the money actually go? Simpler than the industry wants you to believe. First, 6 months of expenses in a bank, untouched. That's your armor, so an emergency never breaks the plan. Then, a boring index fund SIP, automatic, on salary day, before you can touch it. Not 20 schemes, not tips from a cousin's WhatsApp group, not timing the market. One boring automatic system, fed every month, ignored every day. The finance industry earns fees on complexity. You earn freedom on repetition. The best investment plan is not the cleverest one. It's the one that runs for 12 years without needing you to be brave or brilliant or even interested. Let me show you what this looks like in a life. At 32, a man in Bengaluru earns 1,40,000 a month. The year he crossed a lakh, his colleagues celebrated their raises properly. German sedan, bigger flat, further from office, closer to the good school, bigger EMI to hold it all together. He didn't. Not because he's a saint, because one Sunday he did the 10-minute calculation and saw his finish line for the first time. His life costs 55,000 a month. So every month on the 5th, 70,000 leaves his account before he can touch it. He never sees that money. You can't spend what you don't see. His car is 9 years old. His phone is 4. At office parties, someone always jokes that he's struggling. He smiles and refills his plate. His parents worried once that he wasn't doing well. He fixed their kitchen, quietly, in cash, and they stopped. In 2020, the market fell off a cliff. His portfolio dropped by a third in a month. Colleagues stopped their SIPs and waited for clarity. He read his own rule of a sticky note. The system doesn't stop, and did nothing. Which means his March SIP and April and May bought the cheapest units of his entire life. 3 years later, that terrifying spring had quietly become the most profitable season he'd ever had. The crash wasn't the test he failed. It was the exam he'd been preparing for. At 44, his corpus crosses 1 crore 65 lakhs, 25 times his expenses. It happens on a Tuesday. Nothing happens. No fireworks. No announcement. He checks the app twice, puts the phone face down and sleeps early. He goes to work the next day because now it's a choice. And strangely, he doesn't hate it anymore. The meetings feel lighter when your salary is optional. The joke at the office party hasn't changed. But when the layoffs come that winter and the lists are read out floor by floor, watch whose hands shake. The man with the German sedan and 19 years of EMI left. Or the man who owns the next 40 years of his life and is mildly curious whether his name is on the list. Now, the 3 doubts in your head. 1. Inflation will ruin this. No, remember, the corpus earns 2 years of expenses per year and you spend only 1. The spare year is inflation's opponent, growing inside the pot, keeping your withdrawals rising as prices rise. Just recalculate your number annually as your expenses change. It's a living number, not a stone tablet. 2. What if the market crashes? It will, several times. On the way up, crashes are actually your friend. Every SIP buys cheaper. And after you're free, the engine survives because you're not withdrawing the corpus, you're skimming what it grows back. History has been brutal to every other plan, but kind to patient index investors over any 15-year Indian window. 3. Is 12% guaranteed? No, nothing is. It's the long-run average of Indian equity indexes and the honest way to use it is with a margin, which the times 25 rule already builds in. If returns run lower, you work 1 extra year or trim 1 expense. The plan bends, it doesn't break. This plan doesn't need luck, it needs time and it needs you to not interrupt it. One last thing, because it matters, this number doesn't buy you a beach. Nobody actually wants to sit on a beach for 40 years. What it buys is smaller and much bigger. It buys the Tuesday morning where the restructuring email lands and your pulse doesn't move. It buys the month off when your father is in hospital, taken without asking anyone. It buys work you choose at a pace you choose for people you respect. The money was never the point. The point is that nobody owns your calendar anymore. That's what 25 years of expenses actually purchases. The rest of your life returned to you. So here's everything on one line. What your life costs per year times 25. That's your never work again number. In months, expense times 300. A 25,000 rupee life needs 75 lakhs. A 50,000 rupee life needs 1.5 crores. A 1 lakh life needs 3 crores. And if you invest as much as you spend, you are about 12 years away. Today is the day you stop guessing. So here's your homework, and it takes one comment. Write two numbers, what your life costs per month and what you invest per month. Just two numbers like 40,000, 20,000. I'll reply with your freedom number and roughly how many years you are from never working again. 10 seconds of typing in exchange for the finish line most people never see in their whole lives. And if this video moved that line closer than you thought, the next one will show you what life actually looks like at every level of passive income, from 0 to 1 lakh a month. See you there.